Putin and Lukashenko turned the Polish border into a hybrid war zone in order to paralyze NATO's eastern flank. Waves of refugees, smuggling balloons, drone harassment. Migrant groups even tried to cut through the border fences with saws. Using these tactics, they flooded the borders with thousands of refugees in just a few years. This wave of chaos was a sinister tactic stretching from Warsaw to Berlin and then to Brussels. However, Poland's response was ruthless. The borders were reinforced with hundreds of kilometers of anti-tank trenches, concrete hedgehog barriers, and movement-restricting barriers. Every point is monitored with electronic and sensor-based surveillance, and most importantly, 500,000 soldiers are on alert to ensure border security. Belarus and Russia deployed North Korea-style tactics to overcome these obstacles. They thought they could overcome the obstacles above ground, but there was one thing they didn't know. Poland was essentially X-raying the ground with ground radar and motion detection systems. Moscow and Minsk's Great Hybrid War strategy collapsed in a dark underground tunnel. On the morning of December 11th, Polish border guards discovered that more than 180 foreigners had crossed the Polish-Belarusian border illegally. The migrants had entered Polish territory through an underground tunnel dug under a dam near Narewka. It was an unexpected move. It seemed ingenious. However, when we examine the technical anatomy of the infiltration, what emerges is a desperate tactic rather than military genius. It all began in the Podlaski voivodeship in eastern Poland, near the Narewka border post. The latest move by Russian and Belarusian intelligence services was attempted through an underground hole just 1.5 meters high. More than 180 people, mostly Afghans and Pakistanis, were attempted to be smuggled into Polish territory through this tunnel. The area, with its dense forest and marshy terrain, has historically provided natural cover for smugglers and infiltration attempts. However, in 2025, this geographical advantage turned into a death trap for Russia, thanks to the integrated electronic systems established by Poland. The collapse of the operation began with the success of Poland's high-tech electronic barrier system installed at the border. Seeing that the physical wall on the surface was impenetrable, hybrid warfare planners attempted to go underground. However, what they did not anticipate was that Poland's border security doctrine included not only visual, but also seismic and electronic detection. Integrated electronic systems instantly detected movement beneath the ground. The scene at the tunnel exit was pure panic. The first groups to emerge from the underground tunnel were already surrounded by Polish border guards, police units, and tracking dogs. Over 130 people were immediately detained at the tunnel exit. This meant the infiltration attempt's chance of remaining secret was wiped out within the first minute. In fact, it wasn't just a tunnel that collapsed, but the Kremlin's entire game plan on the ground. Lukashenko and Putin's plan had hit a similar wall at the Lithuanian border. In January 2025, the Lithuanian State Border Guard Service uncovered another 25-meter tunnel dug for similar purposes near the village of Pashalchis. This confirms that underground infiltration is not an isolated incident, but a systematic strategy of desperation. And the result was the same on both fronts. Technology crushed primitive tunnel tactics. This 100-meter tunnel is actually only the visible and weakest part of the iceberg. The tunnel was dug to test Poland's resolve, but that hole became the grave of Russia's influence in Europe. This ripple effect will not be limited to Poland. Poland's success in electronic barrier and seismic sensor technology is setting a new standard across the entire Eastern European line, from Finland to Romania. Old-style concrete walls are being replaced by smart walls that detect every movement. This situation is wiping out Russia's hybrid infiltration capabilities not only in Poland, but across the entire NATO eastern flank. Now, every border marker, every tree, and every patch of soil has become an eye watching Russia. The tunnel incident was the final warning needed to modernize Europe's security architecture, and that warning has been heeded. Now, the walls are higher, the sensors are more sensitive, and Europe's gates are locked tighter than ever against Russia. Because Narewka was just a test. The real danger spots may still exist. Tunnels dug near Tiraspol, in areas where the ground is more clayey, could lead directly under Poland's main railway supply lines. The aim is not to smuggle migrants, it is to place explosives under critical logistics lines. The tunnels at the Lithuania-Poland-Belarus junction are infiltration points for stay-behind teams that will be used to ambush NATO reinforcements. The technique used in these